Joining me now is author and political commentator Shamika Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always done.
Hello and happy Monday. Happy TPUSA will respond to Candace Owens' allegations today. Happy Erica Kirk and Candace Owens will sit down in a private discussion. Happy December 15th. Happy it's almost Christmas, happy it's almost time for a vacation, right? Happy December 15th. Welcome to Shaking My Head with Shamika Michelle. I am your host, Shamika Michelle. And as most of my viewers know, there has been a lot going on since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And the fight just doesn't seem to be dying down, right? Hopefully there's some type of resolution between Candace and Erica. Therefore, influencers will stop going at the necks of other influencers. There's this whole disavow Candace Owens campaign going on. There's this, if you don't take a position against Candace Owens, you are evil and demonic. People need to get away from you. I'm seeing pastors say, mark this person down, write this list, put it in your book, whatever. We have so many people taking some really strong positions, so much so, and we discussed this last week, that they're coming at the necks of anybody who's saying, hey, don't try to get me to turn against Candace. This is just what, the position I'm taking. I'm siding with her, whatever. Other influencers are now attacking people, saying, no, you have to choose, and you have to choose differently than that. If you don't, you are retarded. You aren't smart. I'm seeing a lot of people say you don't have discernment. They try to frame it in a way that they think is shaming you for feeling a certain way. And just trying to make you feel bad for your position. It's almost like the people who have sided with Candace are like, hey, we're siding with Candace. This is just what it is. And the people who are not siding with her are angry if you do side, and they want to come after you, and they're making videos, and they're making contents, and they're making posts, and they're going under other people's posts and saying, hey, you got my number. Like, it's what I saw or what I've been seeing is crazy. And so it just had me asking a lot of questions. Mainly, what could make people go this hard, right? What can make people be this upset? And there's this talk about money. We've seen that a lot of people are making money for their positions, and it just raised some questions for me, right? And I'm like, wow, are people actually making money from this? I've watched people say to those of us who have taken Candace's side, oh, the grift is real, and calling us grifters, and as if we're just saying this for money. And I'm thinking, well, where would this money be coming from? I talked to you all last week when Angela Stanton King was accused of being a grifter, and I'm just thinking, where is this money coming from? Like, Candace isn't paying any of us to be on her side. I don't know about everybody. I'm just saying she's not paying me to take her position. Nobody is saying, here's a check for what you believe, or we're going to have you come speak here and speak positively about Candace and give you a check. Like, nobody's doing that on this side. Doesn't mean it's not happening though, right? And so I'm really interested in the money. And I have a few people that I always reach out to, that I talk to, who gave me some very good insight, right? Somehow a 27-page document into the investigation of the finances of Turning Point USA ended up, in my computer. I became privy to a lot of information, answering a lot of the financial questions I had, and just kind of making me say, right? Things that make you go, This 27-page investigation really just made me say, And I thought on it. I sat with it. I looked through it. It's very accurate. We're going to get to some other insider information. But right now, today, everything I talk about today is just coming straight from Turning Point USA's own filings. IRS forms, FEC disclosures, public records. No leaks, not yet. No whistleblowers, not yet. Just documents they filed themselves, because I was interested and wanted to know, is it possible that people are being paid to be so angry, to be so vicious, to be going after people they otherwise wouldn't be going after? Like, is there that much money, right? Because I can tell you, a lot of times I'm in my own world. I do what it is I'm supposed to do, what I've been commissioned to do, or if I'm asked to speak, I go and I do that. Typically, where I stand, it's just my own thoughts, my own views. And if someone agrees with me, then they say, oh, I like the way you think, or whatever. I like what you have to say. I would love for you to come say that here. I've never been paid to take a certain position. It's always, for me, since I've been involved with politics and just cultural commentation, commentary in general, it's just been, we like how you think. We like the things that you say. Come say it over here. I've never been paid to have a different thought process. I've never been paid to run with a certain thing. I've never been paid to tweet a certain thing, post a certain thing, take a specific position. I kind of was maybe a bit naive, a little bit, that this happens on the scale of what I would say is small, right? People that I would consider kind of small. It was very, very hard for me to wrap my brain around that. But once I looked and I'm seeing the amount of money, it made it very all possible. Now, is it probable? I don't know. We're going to walk through this stuff. You decide if it's probable. I'm just saying, I think it's definitely possible by what I'm seeing. So this isn't about ideology, guys. This is about transparency. I'm going to share with you what I've learned. So my question in introducing this whole series, Turning Profit, it's not a verdict. It's just a question. I'm just asking a question because I'm trying to get to the bottom of some of this nastiness, some of this cruelty that I'm seeing. And I know that sometimes people do a bunch of strange things for change. So I'm asking the question, not giving you all a verdict. This is here for you to decide on your own. We're going to take the next few weeks and do a financial examination of Turning Point USA. Maybe it'll answer some questions for you as it did me. It answered some questions for me. It made me think a lot of things were possible that I didn't necessarily think was possible before. And I want you all to know that I'm not, this isn't allegations of anything being illegal. Okay, let me say that up front. I am focusing on structure, patterns, donor expectations, because if the filings tell a different story from the fundraising pitch, I think that's worth examining, don't you? I think it is, because TPUSA presents as a grassroots youth movement. We watch Charlie Kirk go out to universities, talk to high school students. I mean, really rally the youth. So when I think of Turning Point, and I think when a lot of people think of Turning Point, that's one of the things that they think of, how Charlie really touched the youth and kind of tried to grab the mind and the heart of youth before the left could really infiltrate and just cause all types of brain rot. Right? And so I feel like that's what TPUSA kind of presents themselves as, right? Loving the youth, campus activism, education around free markets. And you know, this is their intent, or so I've always thought, so I believe. And I believe that most donors give in good faith. I truly do. I've met a lot of these donors over the last few years, traveling the country, speaking, going to fundraiser events. A lot of these donors give in good faith. They are really good-hearted, genuine people. So I'm not at all trying to disparage them or call them out. A lot of these people have good hearts, I'm telling you, and they want to give because they understand they aren't going to be on the front lines. They aren't going to be the ones on social media speaking or going to campuses or doing any of these public events. You know, a lot of them sometimes will hold events at their homes, or again be the financial backing for things, but they just aren't on the front lines. They aren't going to be the mouthpieces, but they really do have good intentions and they give in good faith. Good people. I want to make sure I'm clear about that. But I also want to say that good intentions don't replace accountability. I spoke some years ago, and the title was Direction, Not Intention Determines Destination. I'll say that again. Direction, not intentions, determines destination. So that's where the filings actually matter, because it's not about your intentions. What do the filings say? What do they reveal? What did this 27-page investigation that ended up in my inbox by someone who does this on a regular, consistent basis that can be trusted. What did it reveal to me? What will I present to you all? That is what matters, not intention. What's the direction that's going to determine the destination? I think it's very important. And I want us right for a moment just to deal with a bit of a educational breakdown. I was talking to my best friend about this and, like, should I do this? Should I present this? And she was all gun ho, like, yes, absolutely. Put it out there, because she, for one, is very interested in just learning, just kind of seeing, just kind of opening our eyes to some things that possibly many of us did not know, but had a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions. So again, I'm saying this is coming from their own filings. No whistleblowers, not yet. No leaks, not yet. Thank you, babe. I just got a baby. You're so beautiful. Thank you. No whistleblowers, not yet. Sorry for the distraction, people. No leaks, just the filing. So a Form 990. Form 990 is an annual information return that most tax-exempt organizations and non-exempt charitable trusts must file with the IRS. It provides the IRS and the public with information about the organization's mission, programs, governance, and detailed financial data, ensuring transparency and compliance with tax law. Okay? The purpose of a Form 990 is to ensure compliance, to make sure that these organizations still qualify for tax exempt. It ensures transparency, for donors or watchdog groups and the public, myself included, to evaluate a nonprofit's operation. It also ensures regulatory oversight. Many states use info from the 990 for their own charitable and regulatory oversight, right? This is the purpose of a 990. What does it reveal? A 990 will reveal revenue. What's coming in? What's going out? I mean, this is a 990. It's very detailed. And you can learn a lot of information from a 990. It tells us salaries. Who's making what? How much are they making? What are they doing? How many hours? Like, a 990 is going to reveal salary. A 990 is also going to reveal vendors. Okay? Vendors. I want you all to keep this in mind. Revenue, salaries, vendors is going to talk about transfers to related entities. This is a 990. Again, the purpose is to ensure compliance, transparency, and regulatory oversight. A nonprofit, and I need you all to remember this, can be fully legal and still be deeply opaque. Means it can be fully legal and not be completely transparent. And we all love transparency, don't we? We love authenticity. I had a brand called or a group of women. We went by Naked Girls. And it was to be open, honest, and emotionally exposed. The name of my book is called Keep It Naked, a naked girl's guide to live life authentically, meaning be open, be real, be transparent. I love transparency as most people do. I love authenticity as most people do. So I understand, or for me, transparency means a lot. But a nonprofit can be completely and fully legal without being transparent. Okay? Again, revenue, salaries, vendors, transfers to related entities, right? And I want to talk about some of the money. Again, we're going to go pretty deep because 27-page investigation is a lot to cover. So today we're just kind of, it's like the tip of the iceberg, right? We're getting prepared. This is the prep. This is like what you do before you actually cook the turkey, right? You baste the turkey, you season the turkey. You know, this is prep. Today is prep, right? Let's talk about this big number. $400 million. Over the past decade, Turning Point USA has raised $400 million. Think about that for a moment. This isn't a small nonprofit. $400 million. This is a major financial operation. With that level of revenue, it makes you wonder, where does the money actually go? It's just a question. $400 million. With that level of revenue, where does the money actually go? Let's talk about a closed ecosystem. Okay? As someone who majored in biology, when we think about a closed ecosystem, we understand that there's no matter exchanged, right? There's no new food, water, or air that enters. Waste from one species becomes food or resources for another. When you think about a closed ecosystem, okay? Energy input, it requires constant energy, typically sunlight, to power photosynthesis and other biological processes. There's like a recycling that goes on in a closed ecosystem. Okay? Remember that I said waste from one becomes food and resources for the next species. It's self-sufficient, right? They maintain life without external additions. When you think about a closed ecosystem. And I think that's important that you kind of understand what that means. Hopefully, my biological example helps you get what I'm saying when I say a closed ecosystem. When it comes to TPUSA, I want you to know that money comes in, but most of it goes to affiliated nonprofits. It's going to insider linked vendors. Most of the money coming in is going to PACs or endowments. Very little is exiting the system. Again, we're going to get to this. I'm telling you, this is based on their own filings. This closed ecosystem. A closed ecosystem. So think less charity pipeline and more internal circulation. Think less charity pipeline, like it's not necessarily the donors putting in and then TPUSA is paying, this charity or that. Think less of that, because that's my mindset, right? That would be my mindset when you're thinking of a movement. But I'm saying think less of that and more internal circulation. A closed ecosystem where waste of one is food and resources for the next, right? Are we on the same page? Okay, when I talk about a closed ecosystem, we're just talking about structure right now. Not going to reveal any names just yet. We're not going to talk about any deep dives on LLCs, not yet. I just want you to kind of understand the system, the groundwork. We'll get to who's on the receiving end, I promise. But right now, I just want to make sure you kind of understand the basics. How I'm saying it works. What's been revealed in this 27-page document that somehow this investigation ended up in my inbox. I want you to know, and I'm saying this clearly, that multiple nonprofits are legal. It's legal, right? Remember that I said something can be fully legal without being transparent. So multiple nonprofits are legal. Endowments are legal. PACs are legal. Insider contracts can be legal. But legality is the floor. It's not the ceiling. Are you with me? Legalities are the floor, not the ceiling. So if donors believe they're funding a movement, should most of the money stay inside a tightly controlled network? If you were donating, if you were a donor, would you be donating to fund a movement, or would you be donating for money to stay tight and inside this controlled network? If I was donating, I don't know how I would feel about money staying inside, being in a closed ecosystem. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the type of money that some of these donors have. So it's just a hypothetical, I don't really know. But I'm asking you, if it were you, what would you want if you were funding a movement? I'm just wondering. So I'm not telling you all what to think. We're just putting some information out here because, again, and I know many of you have seen the vitriol, you've seen the hate, and you can say from either side, right? Whether people are siding with TPUSA or siding against them. Some of you have seen the vitriol on both sides. So I'm not telling you what to think. We're just going to go through these financial documents. We're going to do a deep dive, and you come to your own conclusion. I've come to mine. I had questions, and this 27-page investigation really answered some of those questions, but I can tell you it produced some things, some other ones, and it really made me say, It answered some things for me, and $400 million is a lot of money. We know that just over the last few months after Charlie's death, there's been like another 100 million raised. This is a lot of money. For me, it's something that makes me go, I see things in a different light. I'm seeing people in a different light. It's bringing some clarity to me about motivation. What could be causing some of these people to act the way we've watched them act over the last 3 months? It's brought some clarity to me as to why some people are so defensive. And I've said, if you are focusing on the work of Charlie Kirk, would you really care what some other podcaster is saying? Couldn't you just put your head down, buckle down, and do the work? Just continue to do the work that Charlie Kirk was doing. If that's your motivation, if that's your intentions, just do the work. But when you consider $400 million over the last decade, really about the last 6 years, when you look into what we're going to get into, when you look at how people have been behaving, again, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just saying the documents raise questions that donors are entitled to ask, that the public is entitled to ask. So when we do this deep dive over the next few weeks, I want you to come to your own conclusion, because transparency doesn't harm good organizations. It protects them. And if everybody is really on board with continuing Charlie Kirk's mission of getting to the hearts and minds of the young people, the upcoming generation, then they won't have any problem with transparency. I won't be demonized. I won't be ridiculed. I won't be called names. It'll be just us head shakers, just kind of looking at some stuff, because transparency, it doesn't harm anyone, right? Transparency is a good thing. So I want you to walk with me over the next few weeks, just looking at some of this information and deciding on your own. Hi, mostly peaceful Gady. If the blue collar donors, especially being defrauded, they have a right to know. I agree. Hola, Miguel. Hi, is this Sherry? Thank you for being here. Hi, Carolyn, King Reed, Melina, Leroy or Leroy. Patrick says, hi, sis. Do you support Vernon Jones in Georgia? I like Vernon. I haven't seen a lot of Vernon. Wow. Thank you for bringing that name to the forefront. I don't even think I've seen any of his tweets lately. I haven't. Leroy says, from turning points to turning a profit. Yeah, I mean, we're going to look into that. We're going to look into it. He says, it's not that the new turning point doesn't like questions. They don't like answering questions. I like that. Yes. And thank you for reposting the stream. Is this Freya? Thank you for reposting this. I know we follow each other on X. I appreciate it. 140 million since CK's assassination. And the price keeps going up. Stimulated student says, where does the money go? Where's it coming from as well? We're going to get into all of that. Let's see. Charlie Kirk, y'all, sorry. Charlie Kirk wanted a TPUSA Doge for a reason. Yes. And listen, when I found that out, or, when people started talking about that, and then this document, this investigation ended up in my inbox somehow, I don't know how, it made me just say, wow. Thomas says, welcome to the system. Everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're white or black. It hates you all. Most 501c3 nonprofits are on the take. Just don't have to pay Uncle Sam any money or tax dollars. Sorry. I'm reading in and looking at the same time. Leroy Stanley says, I want what I paid for. Absolutely. He says CK's work included answering questions, that which TPUSA doesn't do anymore. Right. I feel like I think this thing got bigger than Charlie Kirk even expected. And personally, I almost feel like maybe he was in the way. I know that's delving into conspiracy right there, but it almost seems as if he was in the way. I'm telling you, this investigation makes it seem possible. Not telling you what's probable, is it probable? I don't know. But it definitely makes that idea seem possible. Nicholas, hey, Shamika, just tuned in. I got to catch up. Yes, well, today is the first day. So you're not too far behind, Nicholas. Girly Samurai Esquire says, hi, Shamika. Do you have any follow-up information on Armstrong, Williams, and Fahim Muhammad? I don't. I'm going to look into that. I don't feel like I've heard a lot more from that. And I don't even feel like he responded. If he did, Armstrong, if he responded, I didn't see a response at all. Hi, Diane. Thank you for being here. Hello, I saw a sign for Vernon Jones here in Georgia. I'm not sure what he is running for. Oh, okay. So is he running for something again? I want to know. I guess I need to look into that. Like I said, I hadn't seen anything even come across my timeline for him. Nicholas says, one thing I've learned in this life, everybody ain't wrong. The fact Erica passes the smell test with literally no says it all. You saying she does or doesn't? Or not trying to get you caught up in the conspiracies. I think I'm already there. I'm already there, and this investigation, I'm telling you, it's a lot. Okay, I get you now. What you're saying, Puny Giant, the BCV book chapter verse. Would love to discuss this with you on his channel. The document. Are you talking to me, Puny Giant? The document, it's a lot. It is a lot. Pete says Erica is a fraud. Hey Shamika, holla at 50 and ask him to do a TPUSA Netflix documentary. I'm telling you, man, listen, we're going to dive into this. We're going to dive into this. I spent the weekend really just going over this information, and I'm telling y'all, it's a lot. It will answer some questions for you, but it may also make you have more questions. It may make you have more questions, but for me, I said, okay, I can see why some people are acting the way that they're acting. Why some people are going as hard as they are, why it seems that everybody is kind of saying the same thing at the same time, like the same talking points. It seems as if they're reading a script. It makes sense. You know, if you have this much money coming in, I think you're going to put some of this money towards trying to control the narrative. And I think when you have this much money invested, you don't want to lose it. If you're benefiting in any way from this much money, which it seems that people are, you don't want to lose it. So you're going to do what needs to be done to make sure what's feeding your family, putting a roof over your head, or getting you to live the good life. You're going to protect that. If you're in and you're all in, it's going to be very important to you. And so I'm letting you know, we're going to look over this with a fine-tooth comb. As this investigation did, I'm bringing it to you. I'm sharing it. Tomorrow, we're going to map out why Turning Point has multiple nonprofits and what role each one plays. We're taking this step by step. Step by step. Why TPUSA has multiple nonprofits and what role each one plays. We're going to keep these short and sweet. Each day, we're going through it with the fine-tooth comb, head shakers, because it made me shake my head. I will be here tomorrow, same place, same time. Leroy, I agree with you, and I feel like there's so many more. Same place tomorrow, same time. We're going to dig into these multiple nonprofits. Just wanted to do this little base today to make sure we're on the same page, but we're going to walk it out. Walk it out. We're going to go through this together. Head shakers. So we can all be shaking our head and trying to figure out what's going on and why things are the way they are. I think it'll make a whole lot more sense to you as it did to me. I love you.